If you're new to shaping pasta dough, your first few tortellini probably won't look like this. Here's a side-by-side comparison of my 50th tortellino and my first. Shaping pasta is both difficult and easy. It's difficult when you're learning a new shape, and it's very difficult to master and replicate shapes perfectly, but it's easy to improve because the act of shaping pasta is so quick and repetitive that you get near instant feedback. Fold the shape, assess the result, identify the problem, make the change. This learning loop is performed over and over, and you begin to internalize the nuances of the shape, making little changes with each passing square of dough. Here are 5 examples. 1. The starting piece of dough isn't perfectly square and the edges won't line up right. This means your starting square of dough was probably rectangular. You can cut the squares a little more precisely, which makes everything line up cleanly. 2. The dough isn't sealing properly, and it's threatening to bust at the seam in the boil. This means that the dough is too dry to adhere to itself, so give it a little spritz of water or dab a little water on the edge to help seal in the filling. 3. The dough is a little tacky and the finished shape is sticking to your fingers and getting pulled apart. You can swipe the bottom of the dough through residual flour on the cutting board and use a pinch and push technique that allows it to roll off a bit more cleanly. 4. Too much filling and it squeezes out the edge when you try to seal the dough. Just remove a little filling. 5. Too little filling and your dough to filling ratio is too high and your pasta is not as delicious as it could be. Add a little filling. It's not really feasible to measure how much filling you're adding to each dough square, but over time you get an idea of what the correct amount of filling looks like on the square of dough, and you end up with a ratio you're happy with and able to seal. Every shape of pasta is different, and as you repeat the shape, you start to notice details like the first outer wing you curl with your fingers as you pinch the end of the triangles, but the second curl naturally forms as you bring the loop of the tails around and seal them, or the crease that forms around the belly of the filling. Even though you may not be consciously thinking about all of these things, you are making little corrections along the way. It's a difficult flow state phenomenon to describe, but somehow by the end of it, you're much more confident and quick with the process. And that's how you end up going from a shabby tortellino on your first go to a decently good batch near the end. Unfortunately, this little flow state fades, and next time it takes a second to find your groove. But your brain will hold on to some of the information and your muscles some of the memory. Certain skills are transferable between shapes while others are totally new. For example, tortellini and tortelloni are the exact same shape, just different size. In case you're wondering, these tortellini are filled with leeks that have been sweat down in butter and then blitzed with grated parm, grated nutmeg, and fresh cracked black pepper. They make a great bowl of soup and are super easy to cook directly in the broth of your choice. In this case, it's a golden roasted chicken stock flavored lightly with celery and parsley. Serving the tortellini as a small first course leaves room for a main of slow-cooked white kidney beans with braised broccoli rabe. Finish everything with a drizzle of olive oil and more grated parm for a dinner that's a simple winner. But the real star is the little sunken loops of tortellini. This meal really has me wondering what other soups they might elevate.